Joe Waxman, and I am here with Michelle Williams. Now, Michelle Williams is a relative newcomer to macrobiotics, but she has done a lot of videos, both about macrobiotics and not about macrobiotics in general on YouTube. And she's an enthusiastic, up-and-coming young macrobiotic. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hello, I am doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Now, Michelle, what got you interested in macrobiotics, and when did you begin?
Yeah, it's kind of a long story, but I'm gonna try to shorten it. I grew up with a lot of mental illness, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, eating disorder. So I got started working on those illnesses earlier in my life when I was a teenager, and I went through the conventional ways of doing it, therapy, medication. And those work to a certain extent. But it also should be mentioned, I was really into ballet. I wanted to be a professional ballet dancer. And so many things happened in life, you know. I got sidetracked and I became more focused on helping my mental health. And during that maybe 2-year period where I wasn't in school anymore, I had already graduated from UC Riverside, got my degree in dance. I was mostly just focusing on helping my eating be stable, helping my mental health be stable. And so during that time, I gained quite a bit of weight, pretty much doubled my weight because of side effects from medication and also binge eating. And even though after all that, you know, I was eating intuitively, but I wasn't eating healthfully, you know, and I wasn't exercising. And it came to a point where I started to put myself out there again in the dance world. Okay, it was pretty difficult being the weight that I was at, and so my boss, I ended up getting a job as a dance teacher, which I was so thankful for, so happy I got this job. And my boss told me, you know, not in a mean way, she was very practical, and she said, to be the best dancer that you can be, you have to lose some weight. And at that time, I was afraid of going down that path again, of becoming again in my eating disorder, which I had just worked so hard to get out of. So I was very cautious about what I looked at, because I wanted to lose weight, of course, but at the same time, I didn't want to hurt myself. So I was just searching on the internet, diet for dancers, nutrition for dancers, and everything that would come up, it was basically stuff I already knew, and it didn't seem like this is specific. Like, how is this going to help me with my balance? How is this going to help me turn better? Like, you know, it seemed like this kind of eating was for anybody. Like, anybody could look at this. And so it wasn't, you know, so I was just like, okay, well, I put in place the tactics that my nutritionist that I had worked with in my recovery, that they initially gave me. And it was basically, look at what you're eating every day. And I already at that point knew a little bit more about nutrition. So what I was eating every day, I was eating no vegetables, 0 vegetables, and I was eating a lot of dairy, flour products, and sugar. A lot of sugar. And I said, okay, yeah, this is not really balanced here. So I thought, okay, let's just start eating more vegetables. Okay. and I can do that. So I started eating more vegetables. And then also I said, okay, I need to start exercising again, but I didn't want to be crazy and force myself to exercise like I used to exercise. So I would just go intuitively, like when I felt like it, you know. And I did this for maybe 2 years. And then but then at the same time, my depression, my anxiety started coming back in a way, or becoming stronger. So I was in this cycle of going to work and coming home, going to work and coming home, and I felt so like I need to do something else. Like I don't have any friends. I do have friends, but I didn't socialize besides at work. And I was so sick of this cycle. And so I said, okay, Michelle, just like do something, just go somewhere. And so I typed in Facebook, in the events, I said, events near me. And I saw a swing dance, you know, like the 40 style dancing.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Michelle, you're
I
breaking up. You're
always wanted
freezing.
to try this. I ended up meeting my boyfriend, and my boyfriend has. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I ended up meeting my boyfriend. Oh yeah, I ended up meeting my boyfriend. He's been macrobiotic for a very long time. And he started talking about food, and he was just asking me questions like, where do you like to eat? What's your favorite food? Stuff like that. And so he started getting more into it, you know, talking about plant-based diet. And I was so sensitive to that kind of thing because I had been vegan when I was in my eating disorder. And what a lot of people might not know is that a lot of people who have eating disorders, they say they're vegan, so they have an excuse to not eat or to eat very little. So it's not really for their health. It's actually like encouraging their illness. So so every time I heard someone talk about vegan, plant-based, I was like, these people are encouraging eating disorders. So I would get really mad at my boyfriend for saying that stuff. And so he eventually, and I still liked him, so we continued to get to know each other. So he eventually just got me a book, and he got me the Hip Chick's Guide to Macrobiotics.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved everything about it because I felt like Jessica Porter, she didn't really emphasize weight loss or the nutrition facts. To me, I really got from it that food has vibrations that help us and encourage us on our life path. And I was like, this is perfect because I want to become a better dancer. If I lose weight, I mean, that's totally okay, but that's not my main goal. My main goal is to become a better dancer. So I started doing a few things here and there because at the same time I was pretty wary. I was like, this is another diet. Is this another trap? And so I just started eating more whole grains, more vegetables, a little bit less dairy, a little bit less sugar, a little bit less meat. And honestly, within 2 months, I was sitting in my car. I used to have really bad anxiety driving and really bad road rage. And so I was sitting in my car and I was getting ready to turn onto the freeway and I had my music playing and I was like, this is my car. And I was like, what is this? I've never felt this before. I was like, something's going on here. And so I started getting more into it. And I mean, even to this day, I keep on seeing benefits, and it's only been 4 years. And I will be honest, I'm not, perfectly macrobiotic, I still do some things that I want to work on, but yeah, that's my story.
Cool. That's really neat. Um, so I know you're a big YouTuber, and I've seen some of your videos, uh, and you've been doing videos about macrobiotics recently. So I don't know. Can you talk about that? What have you been share? Share something about that with us.
Yeah. I honestly, I've been making videos about macrobiotics ever since I started, you know?
Yeah.
And at first, like I said, my boyfriend didn't really say macrobiotic. So when he was talking about this way of eating, I would ask him, I'm like, oh, so you're talking about being vegan? And then he's like, well, it's not really vegan. And so when I would say in my videos, because I would do a lot of grocery hauls, so I'd say like, oh, brown rice, is supposed to do this, and I didn't know really, and people would ask me, Michelle, like, what diet is this? And I was like, oh, I don't know. It's just like, you know, and and in the in throughout my process, I I was just
You're breaking up a little bit.
talking, learning, and it wasn't until this year or this past 2 years that to be a little bit more thinking ahead with my videos, and I feel like now I want to be a little bit more concise and just have more awareness of what I'm saying and what I'm sharing with the world, and keeping in mind that not everyone, most people haven't even heard of the word macrobiotic. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, right. And you have like a bunch of followers because you've been doing this. You're like a, I don't know, say pro YouTuber, but I don't know, kind of like you've been doing it for a long time. You have a bunch of followers, so in other words, you're introducing a lot of people, exposing a lot of people to macrobiotics, and you've even done some classes. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What I want to do is exactly, what you're talking about. I want to introduce a different way of thinking, a different way of living, eating, because I feel like so many people, I mean, a lot of people in the macrobiotic community understand this. They think black and white thinking.
Right. Go ahead.
So I usually tell people, oh, I'm just vegan, just to make it easier. But then when people see me eat something that's not vegan, they kind of get crazy, you know. How people in the vegan community or any community, people can get pretty,
I saw you making a
reactive.
I saw you
Yeah.
making a video about that, and you're making some really good points. So yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to, and the thing is too, coming from my background of having an eating disorder, we were, in my recovery, we were always taught, like all foods fit, nothing is bad, just having more awareness, of course, what you're eating and what's going to help you. But so that's what because it's this thing of diet culture, of being so, and just like in macrobiotics, people can be so rigid, and it's like that's not really going to help us, in every situation. And so that's what I want to help. Just the purpose of macrobiotics is to have greater freedom and greater health and greater happiness. So that's just what I want to, a different way people can achieve it with their eating and their general lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think with your background that you have great opportunity to help people who are in a similar situation that you were. You know, the thing that when somebody heals themselves of a certain illness or disease, uh, they can go on to help others heal. You know, that's the natural order of things. That's how it always works. So, you know, you have an insight into eating disorders and things of that nature. So you're the perfect candidate to help people with that. Is that what you have in mind with macrobiotics?
I Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes, to help people, who are struggling with things that I have grown from.
Mhm.
So definitely. And it's it's really encouraging that some of my old therapists and nutritionists, we still keep in contact, and they've even reached out to me a few times to come and to talk to their group, or to have set up a continuous group. And I'm so honored that they saw me at my worst, and now they're actually saying, "Hey, Michelle, we want to pay you. Let's, can
Nice.
you talk to our clients?" It's like
Nice.
it's so crazy, and I'm so thankful.
Mm, that's really good to hear. So tell us about some of the things that you're working on. I noticed that you're doing you're doing different kind of video projects. Is that right? Like you're
Yeah.
doing it with a live dinner, Instagram live.
Yes, I'm doing of course, my YouTube channel. I'm also doing the Instagram live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's basically everyone can come on, and we just share what we're eating, and there's no pressure. I don't want to like scare people away and make them feel like, oh, they have to have a perfect balanced meal. It's like, no, anybody can join, because I want it to be like just like a community, like we're eating dinner together, like just like lighthearted conversation. But at the same time, I start it, I say a prayer, and then this is something we did when I was in my eating disorder treatment, is that we checked in with ourselves and we rated our hunger from 1 to 10. And it was emotional hunger and also physical hunger. And the goal was, to eat in line, have those two levels line up, and then and be mindful, of course, chew.
Mhm. Mhm.
um, and by the end of the meal, the goal is to, feel satiated, but not like too full. And then check in with ourselves again. Okay, what is my hunger level now, emotional and physical? And then, of course, it's always fun to see what everyone's eating. If people want to, I know most of my audience, they're not macrobiotics, but they are interested. So I feel like I'm giving them some kind of inspiration or ideas when they see what I eat. And then it also helps me to see what they're eating, to create content, that will help them.
Nice.
And yeah, and some other videos things I'm doing. I also have a Patreon, and I do exclusive videos for my Patreon. And again, it's more geared for people who are not macrobiotic and who are interested in eating better. So so I do special videos for them. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and I started doing webinars on Zoom, and those are, right now I'm doing a series called Healthy Eating Basics. And again, it's not specific to macrobiotics, even though there's a lot of similar themes. It's just for everyone to have a basis of knowledge, that from there they can choose, okay, do I want to get into a plant-based diet, just something that everyone could use in their life.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, and it's a great use of your platform, a great use of all the time you've invested into YouTube and social networking. You know, you build up a large following, and now you can spread a wonderful message about diet and health and eating. um, I'm curious, what other sort of modalities or things did you find really useful in your overcoming your eating disorder, mental illness, and stuff like that?
Um, so macrobiotics really opened me up, really opened me up to a lot of things I would have never thought I would get into. Um, like the main thing is that I don't know, maybe 6 months, maybe a year between that time that I started eating macrobiotic, I started to notice more like heightened feeling, and also a lot of coincidences, basically my psychic ability, intuitive
Oh,
ability enhancing. And
nice.
I didn't know what was happening. I said, this is weird, this is weird. Like I was really I was honestly scared. And I along that time too, I started feeling, I had a back injury, a really bad back injury, and I didn't have health insurance. And now, with the knowledge of macrobiotics, I didn't want to be injected with, stuff. And so I was more interested in, I started doing chiropractic treatment, I started doing acupuncture. Um, I started doing energy healing, like receiving energy healing, and I loved all those things so much. And I started getting into crystals, and I eventually became a certified crystal healer, basically using crystals to do energy healing. Um, and and also developing my spirituality, which, prior to macrobiotics, I was a little bit into it, but not so much. But, getting more into different areas. Oh, yoga really helped, helped me to be able to meditate. Because before, like I was telling you earlier, Joe, I was in a condition that I couldn't sit still and I couldn't close my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started meditating, and I started getting into astrology, which I love.
Yeah.
Um, and I also love that, there's 9-star key astrology that so fits perfectly with macrobiotics. And
Mm-hmm.
all of these things really helped me. And it's so nice to know that there's a wide range of tools to help people when they're going through, not just mental illness, but really any illness. And it's really, it makes you feel safe, and it makes you feel in control of your life, and like things can get better, and they actually will get better. The
Mm-hmm.
transformations of energy. So it's pretty cool.
That's great. What I can think of is that vegetables, uh, a lot. Well, vegetables grow down, but the leaves always grow up, right? They point to the sky, and they they're like antenna. So if you're not eating vegetables, even latent sensitivities, psychic abilities can be repressed. And when you start eating vegetables, then they become alive. Grains and vegetables. I shouldn't exclude grains. Grains,
Yeah,
beans, vegetables. But
yeah,
these definitely can enhance our sensitivities, our intuition, our psychic abilities, latent ones. And I know from astrology that you have a lot of water nature, so psychic intuition is definitely associated with that. So it's not surprising to hear that from you. Now, I'm curious, what is sort of where where do you see yourself? Because you're young right now, and
hmm
that's a good thing in many ways, because you have so much ahead of you. And where do you see yourself evolving with macrobiotics in as time goes on? How do you see yourself?
yeah. Well, I feel like one of the first more immediate things that I would like to do in the near future is to study with a teacher, maybe multiple teachers, more seriously, get, all the information that, would be required for me to be able to help people on a larger scale, be able to give more detailed advice and counseling instead. And I'm, like I said, I'm so thankful to be even just introducing people at this point. But I would love to do even more, and I would love to write books,
Right.
and I would also at some point have like a school, like a, kind of like a KI in a way, but
Uh,
make it, of course, with my own thing to it. I
mhm.
want to, I want to do as much as I can,
Yeah.
as much as possible, because I think, the more that in this time, each day that goes by, there's so much more that comes up that it's like, okay, people need help. People need help. And I hate to see, people have like hopelessness, like feeling like there's no way out. And it's like, I feel like, on this earth, like, of course, there's always going to be difficult things, but it's like we can deal with it and we can grow from it. Like we really can. Like there really is possibility for something better. And it's just like I just want people to understand that. So because it's like it's a collective thing. It's not just for them. It's for everybody. So sometimes I feel like, oh, maybe it's kind of funny. Sometimes I feel like, oh, maybe this is a little bit selfish, because it's like, if people around me are good, then I'm also good. So I'm actually helping them so I can be so I can be good. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's better.
Well, people think selfish is a dirty word, but it depends
Right.
how you see it. I mean, if you see the whole universe as yourself, be selfish. You know what I mean? Like, if other
Yeah.
people are a part of yourself, be selfish. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, selfish isn't always bad,
Right.
right? Um, because we're both into astrology, and you were generous enough to share some of your astrology with me. I know that you are a Sun conjunct Chiron in Jupiter, and
Oh, yeah.
this is the mark of a healer and a teacher, because Chiron's the wounded healer. So it's no surprise to me that you had to overcome some illness, which you did, because that's Chiron. Starts out
Mm-hmm.
wounded and then eventually becomes the healer. And Jupiter's the teacher. Jupiter's the guru, and it's in Cancer. So Jupiter's exalted in Cancer. So, and this is an eleventh house. I'm showing off some of my astrological knowledge because I also do astrology counseling. So I want people to understand that, or know that I know a little bit about astrology.
Oh,
But
yeah.
11th house means networking. It means groups. It means internet. So you are clearly um, born to reach out to networks and groups, to speak over the internet, and to be something of a healer and a teacher. So it's no surprise to me everything you're saying. It fits it very
Mhm.
much in line with your astrology, and I think you will find the opportunity to study with a teacher and become a macrobiotic teacher, because you already are. Like, you're already teaching. You're already doing these classes. You were born to be online. You're born to speak in front of people. So, I mean, I see that in your future,
Aw.
definitely.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
It's like I know my chart, of course, and I have been working with other astrologers, but it's so I'm so thankful that you're able to see it, and you said it in that way to me. I really, really appreciate that. Really encouraging.
And you're also a Virgo rising. Virgo is the natural healer with food. There's different kinds of healer. Virgo is a food healer, like
Wow.
food and herbal medicine.
Hmm.
And so Virgo is very much in line with macrobiotics. And I'm a Virgo moon, so I know about Virgo.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, what else do you want to share with us?
Um, I feel like there's so much. Um, I guess I I don't know. I do have a lot to share, you know,
Yeah.
and I of course, you know, I want to learn more. Um, but I'm just I'm feeling like I'm gonna cry right now. I'm so sorry. Um, it's just because it's like good tears, you know. But yeah, I'm just so thankful. So happy.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say, honestly.
Okay, Michelle,
Just
I'm gonna ask you a pointed question.
okay.
Um, since you're somewhat familiar with the macrobiotic community,
Hmm.
where ideally do you
Hmm.
have anyone in mind or any place that you'd like to go to study macrobiotics?
Okay, I mean, my number one teacher or teachers I want to work with, Nicola McCarthy. I want to work with her, just because we become friends online, and she, you know, she has her background is, you know, more psychic things and energy healing, and also her husband too. And I really like their vibe, and I really connect with them. So I would definitely like to study with them. Um, and I mean, of course, you know, your father, you know, Warren Kramer, I've seen him when he's come to LA. Um, and honestly, you know, those are more like the teachers that I would like to work with,
Mhm.
um, or learn from. Also, just different people in the macrobiotic community. I feel like even though maybe they're not necessarily teachers, but they've been doing it a long time, I want to, you know, connect with them and learn more. Like, I've met Zara June. She's the Macro Muse on Instagram. I've helped her in the kitchen before, and I really were friends. And I really have been encouraging her to put out a program, you know, because I was like, I'll sign up for it. You know, I want to learn from you. So, and then of course, I mean, I really like Jessica Porter. I know she's written, you know, some books, and I'm not sure she really teaches, but I would just love to, you know, hear her experience. Um, really, really, so many people I would love to get to know and learn from, even if they're not necessarily teachers, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. Um, I feel a lot of authenticity from you and um, joy. So I don't know. That's good. Maybe some of them will reach out to you. Some of those people that you mentioned. I don't know.
Yes. Oh, I should also mention you too, Joe. I want to learn from you, and I feel like with your videos, I have already been learning. So,
Mhm. Well, that's the goal. To help people. You know, I'm here. So um, I don't know what else to ask you. What else do you want to say?
mm, I guess just direct people towards my social media. I know.
Mm,
Oh, actually, I kind of do. I kind of do want to say something
yeah, go
um,
ahead.
about social media. I feel like there's a lot of really educated people, um, you know, in the macrobiotic community. And like I said, even if they're not teachers, I just feel like a stronger presence online would really help, you know, people get into this, and help, you know, because I know it's this field is not such a, you know, a money maker, but it's like if we have more of a presence online, you know, it's helps guide people towards us or
Mhm.
towards this information, you know. It's mostly for the better of the world. But at the same time, there are teachers who I've heard from your videos, your interviews, they're struggling to have people in their classes, or just clients, and it's like, how is this information going to survive our respected older teachers? How is it going to survive if we don't have new people, younger people come in and learn from these really educated people? So I feel like, and I feel like sometimes I find people online, different macrobiotic people online, and I'm like, man, these people should have more followers. I'm like, I mean, I'm grateful for the following that I have, but at the same time, I only know so much. So it's like, I feel like I want to encourage macrobiotic people to have more of a presence online. Of course, if they feel comfortable, and if they don't know how, I mean, honestly, I still don't know everything. It's just like, I feel like that's pretty important, and I feel like that's really going to help our community, and it's going to help the world. So I just feel like having more of a presence online, posting more, going on different platforms. And honestly, this is the other thing. we don't have to, when we're talking about macrobiotics, we don't have to always be educational about it. We can just have fun, have fun with our post, and that's how I grew my following in the beginning. I had no agenda. I was just having fun. But now I have a message, so it's a little bit more,
Yeah.
Well,
that's a great message. And you're natural at this. You got a creative spirit. You've got the Pisces moon, very creative. So, Michelle, I don't know what else to say. I thank you for your time. I think you have a bright future ahead of you within macrobiotics and just in general. And as always, guys, check out my website, themacrobioticdiet.com. My mom is holding a class on August 15th. What is Family Unity? It's at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Register for that. And you can read my blogs or book an appointment with me. Michelle, do you have any websites or other information you want to share?
Yes. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's The Freedom Fairy. And my Instagram is at _freedom_fairy. I also have a podcast. It's called Macro Magic with Michelle. You can find it on any podcast platform. And if you want to check out my Patreon, like I said, it's mostly for beginner macrobiotic people, but there's also a tier where you can just donate, to support. It's patreon.com/the_freedom_fairy. I'm also on Twitter. My Twitter is a different name, MICHARU333. I'll give Joe all my links so he could put it in the description.
Sure. And
yes.
What's your podcast about?
My podcast, it's about all the things in life that help us heal. So, because macrobiotics is not just food, right? So it's everything that can help us heal. So, and I've had a few guests on there, and they actually were not from the macrobiotic community, but I had an astrologer on there. We talked about the 7 levels of consciousness, and she, I said it from a macrobiotic perspective, and she said from astrology, Western astrology perspective. And then my most recent episode, I had my dietitian, one of the dietitians I worked with when I had my eating disorder. So it's more encompassing than just macrobiotic people. But of course, I would love to have some macrobiotic guests on there. And sometimes I talk about more personal things, my own journey. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, unless you have anything else, I guess we'll end it here.
Cool. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Michelle. It was really nice to hear you talk about everything. So thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.